Hello, this is Judy. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for joining me here. Please make sure to subscribe if you're not, to give me a thumbs up if you could, and comment if you have anything to suggest or just want to say hello. I appreciate it. Today's video, I'm going to be concentrating on the stamp of the month for February 2023, and it's Springtime Borders. These are really cute, so useful. I love borders. I'm also going to be using the envelope flaps, thin cuts, and I brought out a couple of these brackets, and these are still available on the website as of the time of me filming this. I already have some of my stamps on blocks, and here's some samples. So every month I go ahead and make some projects for anyone who buys the stamp of the month from me, and I try and make it useful, try to teach something, and just get you to use that stamp of the month at least for a little while. So this is one of the cards, and this is also using up a lot of my scraps, which has become so explosion time. So what I did was I cut down my yellow and orange scraps, and I used them as strips to make this card, which is perfect for this border stamp. I also used some old paper and a zip strip from the storybook collection, and they all come together as long as you use the same color family, like a monochromatic or very close to it. It looks great together, I think, anyways. So I also used this spring stamp set, which is in the core catalog, and that is called Spring Greetings. So you've got that word and that word, and you can see here I stamped it over top, and it also has sending you bunches of love and sending happy thoughts. So it's a cute stamp set. It's an A, so it's really inexpensive, but very useful. So it's really pretty for applications like this. So next sample is this one. Is also the same, and this one I think I used some smoothie papers, and I stamped it with papaya, another zip strip from the storybook collection. I love the rainbow, can you tell, and the butterflies, and you could even fussy cut those along with the boots. This one I used, I believe, paprika. Might have been cinnamon, but I think it's paprika. There was an old piece in my stash that was a embossing folder piece that is wood grain, and I thought, oh my gosh, that matches perfect, so I threw it on here. And this was another piece of that old retired paper, and the boots, so it's so cute. And then send in happy thoughts. Now in this one, this bracket was actually big. It's a big bracket, but it was too big, so I cut some of it through, and then I stopped it and I cut the other part. I moved it up and cut the other part to give it a smaller one. But you can see this distance is smaller than that distance, but that's okay. I probably would bet you didn't notice it if I hadn't pointed it out. Okay, and this one is using the yellows, which is my favorite color. And I experimented a little and put the pattern paper behind the layer and then behind the sentiment, and I really like how it came out. So all of these ones have plain cardstock as a base for the sentiment and the card layer. This is just the opposite. But using those all monochromatic colors really made it pop out. And these are all different colors. This color, and this color. They're all three different shades of yellow. All right, so, oh, and here's the envelope flap that I made with some of those scrap papers. So those are cute. So as you can see, this is gonna go together. And this one can go with this one. So it has that floral. So let us show you what's included. So with a $50 order, you get the stamp of the month for $5. If you're VIP, you can get it for free, or you can just purchase the stamp set itself for $19.95. But why spend $50 and get it for $5? Is a much better bargain, because you can always find something you need, right? And if you do that, then you get a free layout kit from me, and I already did a video on that layout kit. It's the one prior to this one. I'll link it at the end of the video, and close-ups will be at the end of the video too, so stay tuned for those always. And if you spend $100 including everything, shipping and tax and everything. So if it reaches that $100 mark, I'll also send you this card kit. So you're going to get 2 of this card and 2 of another card, which I will show next. And then if you spend $125, commissionable total, so that would be after VIP credits are applied, after or before shipping and tax, then I will send you all of those Cricut cut SVGs all cut out for you, and some of them will be adhered together that are in the collection of the month. Oh, this month is Storybook. However, I thought it was Life's a Hoot, so that's the SVG file that I've been working on. But if you really want Storybook, I could switch it up and do that, either one. So if you spend $125, that is the bonus. It's a huge packet. You get all the base pages for the layout that's in that SVG file, for the layout that is free with your $50 order. And, you know, I ship that whole big package, so it makes it economical for me to ship it. So anyways, enough of that. Let's get on to the cards. So what you get in your kit are the 2 envelopes, the 2 base cards, and you may get a top folding or you may get a side folding. I'm not sure which ones are in here. No, there's not one in here. This is my prototype pile, so just pretend there's one in there. So there's that one, and this one, it looks like I already put the base on, so you get the cardstock. This one, and we'll probably make this a side open. This is the piece to build your layers on. So you get 1 for each one, and they're a little bit bigger because what I do is I put all my layers on it and then I trim it down to fit on top of this cardstock piece. And then you'll also receive a variety of paper to go, and this is going to be mostly yellows because that's the color I was working on, and of course it goes with springtime, which is the sentiment that I'm using. And you can use whatever ones you want. You can use none. You know, it's your card, do what you want, but I give you enough, obviously. Okay, you also get the layer for your sentiment. So let's see, this sentiment we're going to put on the orange, maybe not because I don't like the orange. Put it on the yellow, but see, it doesn't fit on the yellow, so I'll have to trim that out. And the card kits that I sent to you, of course, are all correct because this is my prototype pile. It was what was left. So this is basically what you got. This was a different piece of card stock, and I colored it with my blending brush with the honey butter ink to make it match. So matched pretty good. And then you also get a couple inside sentiments. Whatever papers you have left, you can use to mat these. Let's make one of these cards. Let's use the one that's already put together. Makes it a little easier on me. And we're going to do a top fold, and I really like this yellow flower. So we're going to do that. We're going to do it on the white. Okay. Put that aside so I don't use it. I'm going to put this maybe here. I really like this yellow too. But see how these are way too big, so I'm going to cut those down. And I always love a stripe that's cut like this. It really makes a nice border. And I do like the yellows. All of these yellows are good. So I'm going to probably trim these down. So the cards are approximately 5 inches. And where is that white piece? So we're going to guesstimate. You could put it on here and then cut it down, but I want to cut it lengthwise. And I'm going to cut it in half because I could always use it on the other card. I don't need that much yellow. And I try to stagger the sizes of my pieces as well, the widths of them. See how this is a 1/2 inch, this is like a 3/4, this is a 1.5, I think. Yeah, this is 1.5, and this is probably around the same, and I think this is 1. We're going to trim this one down to 1 inch. And you can overlap them. You can put them, you know, so they are all butted up against each other. I still have too much. I want to use them all. All right, and I want to do the rainbow at the top. And then I'm going to do, I think, the butterflies here. So that one's good. Let's cut this one down. This little trimmer is just too darn cute. All right, so we cut it in half. So now these are going to be about the same. That's all right. It'll have to be all right. So I like having that. I would love to have the boots here too. You know what? Maybe we could stamp on this one. We could put the boots on there. The butterflies on here. I want the stripe at the bottom. And then the rainbows at the top. All right, so that's my plan. And you can change it up any way you want, right? You don't have to do it like this. So we're gonna do the boots on the yellow. And I'm going to do it with lemonade. No, let's use honey butter, because that is the color of my sentiment and the color that is on my card mat. And I like using bigger blocks for these because I can line it up easier. I don't have the line of the block interfering with my line of vision. And normally I would have a piece of scrap paper under here, but for filming purposes, it's okay. And then I'm going to just gently rub the back. Oh, that looks good. Gently rub the back of it just to make sure it all transferred. And let me get a little spritz here. Make sure there's no ink there. Now here it has that quote from the stamp set. I'm not going to use that. Let's use the butterflies next. And I'm going to stamp up with all the same color ink. That kind of makes it look like it all belongs together. Some of the things you can put together. And yeah, I would have a piece of scrap paper and my Versa mat flipped over on the other side for the cushion. That would be even better. All right, so now let's get this straight. I'm going to do it upside down and line it up on this edge rather than try to line it up on the other edge like this, because it's harder to see. And I should have put this one on the big block, but alas, I didn't. So I'm going to line the block up with the paper edge, and hopefully my stamp is on there straight, and then it will be okay. All right, so that picked up, so gently rub it, and that came out good. Okay. So now we were going to put this here. Maybe we'll put this up here. And then the butterflies. The black makes it very top heavy, so you got to be careful when you're doing things like that. But what I could do is put my sentiment over that part to make it not feel as heavy. See? Covers up my rainbows though. I don't know if I want to do that. Let's see. Let's put this here. And then put spring greetings there. Yeah, I think that looks good. So we'll go with that. So I'll use my tape runner and just adhere all this down. And you could use either side. There's other designs on the other side of this paper. This was old, several years old, from a 6x6 pad. And that's why the designs are small, because the 12x12 sheets had large designs. So this one, the stripes. Now the flowers. Now the butterflies. Was it the butterflies next? What's missing? Why am I so far up? Okay. All right, we're going to leave a little white border in between each of those. That's fine. Sometimes it's good to have white in between. Okay, so now I need to trim this down. And the base card stock is generally going to be your 5.5 or 5 1/4 by 4. So this has to be smaller than that. But make sure you measure it, because you don't know what Judy could have done. Judy may have cut it wrong. So just double check it before you go ahead and cut it down to make sure that it's the right size. And I would have done that if it weren't already attached here. So let's just see. All right, so I've got to cut some off of the top so that it is centered. So now let's see. And I've got more around the side, or a bigger edge around the side, because I cut a little too much off. No, it's the way I wanted it, right? All right, that looks like perfect. Okay. Having some of those little tiny guillotine trimmers are so nice. So now I'm going to ink the edges of this with my ink pad, and I'm just going to run it along. You could use a dauber, you could use a sponge. I like to just get the edge. So I run it along the side of my ink pad like that, and then I will put it down. And then slowly but surely using up my old tape runners, because I love the new Tombow Air. It is so nice. It's like a dotted adhesive, so it doesn't ever have those strings like the old Tombow does like this. Although this one's been pretty good so far. And now you could pop this up with pop dots if you wanted to. I don't have any right here, so I'm going to attach it down. Oh, and I had to say something. I think it just ran out. Nope, there's some. Okay. I really like the butterfly. I hate covering it up. But you still have the indication that it's there, right? So that looks good. So press it down and it's done. Now with this, I have some strips of paper left. So I can mat this on here and trim it down for the inside. And that's all you do. It's basically just putting the papers down where you think they look good. And I did a lot of the prep for you, you know, and stamping them. And you've got a card, and it's really cute. I really like it. And I love using up my scraps because I save everything. I've been trying to be better. So... But, you know, if I didn't have all my scraps, I wouldn't have been able to do this really cool project. Especially using your scraps in a monochromatic way. Lets you use all those old ones that maybe don't match with the papers that you have now. All right, so you will make 2 of these, and then we will make 2 of the next one. Okay, here's the second card design I've got for you, and this is our slider card. And I've got some samples. What you do is you just slide it up. Isn't it cute? So I thought I'd make some of these just so you could see what they're like. And with this design, you can use it with photos too. But for using it with the stamp of the month, it works out really nice because you can do the designs on the front layer. And I love the rainbow, as you can tell. So what you get with your kit will be 2 of each. And as you can see, I'm going to be using these for a make and take for upcoming event. And you'll get 2 of these, which is the front panel. And 2 of the base pieces, which are the slider part. I only need 1 for demonstration, right? And then you need one of these white pieces for the back. So I will also send you a copy of the instructions that Close to My Heart gave us to go with this. So it tells you exactly what to do. And what you do is you fold this, and it has score lines in it when it cuts out, which makes it so easy. I thought about trying to design something like this on my Cricut, and you still could for something bigger, you know, for in the scrapbook page, but this makes it just so much easier. And then you fold these tabs around to the back, and this gives it some structure and some strength to it so it doesn't collapse. And I did use my tape runner up in the meantime from the first segment there. So I pulled out my liquid glue. So you're going to fold those together and hold them so that they stay really secure, because they need to slide through this part. All right. So this is how it's going to go. And it slides up and down. And that's how it goes in the back. And this piece holds it down. Let's see if I can do it connected to show you. Okay. So that gets secured down. And then the front piece slides up and down to hide and show the other parts. Okay. Now that you have this part done, it's really confusing as to what part gets stamped and what part doesn't. How I do it is I use my Misty, because it requires a good inking, and with the different two layers, you might miss a little bit. I find using the Misty really helps me to get a good image, because I can re-ink it and stamp it and re-ink it. Okay, so I'm going to put this piece down in my Misty, and you can put down wherever you want. I have an old Cricut mat in here. It's really sticky, so it sticks to that. And then I'm going to put this piece on where it would be all the way down, and make sure it's in the middle so I can fold my parts over. Okay, so now that's all the way down. So this is what will be shown through your card. It'll be like this when it's closed. Okay, so we're going to be stamping this part up here. And there is a stamp set that is made for this design, but you can use any stamp set, any sentiment, any kind of word you want to use, like this bunny rabbit, and then the Easter. The You're in My Thoughts Today was one stamp set, and then the Get Well Soon was another one, and the Rainbow was another one. You can use a multitude of stamp sets. I'm not including any with this because I have no idea what you would want to do, and this part of the fun of learning to use this is to stamp on it. So I'm going to use the Now and Forever stamp set. I'm going to do the Love You More and Happy Valentine's Day. I think will it fit? Let's make sure it fits first. No, it doesn't fit. Let's see. Laugh often, love more, much. That would fit. And Love You More would fit. Okay, so we're going to do that two-part. So we'll do the Laugh Often, Love More there. And then I can stamp some little hearts in the bottom down here. And we can put the heart stamp on the front. That would be cool. Maybe I'll just use that one. We'll make it simple. So we're going to do that one first. and we'll put the other heart on later. So you have to be careful picking this up that you don't pick up the card with it. So you just kind of touch it, try and get it grabbed. There you go. Because if the stamp sticks to this, then lifts the card up, then you have to rearrange it is all. So you just have to be careful. So let's do it in black. So I got my intense black. And that's exactly why the Misty comes in so handy. Now there is another way to do this. It's the way that I made the pictures show up. And what you do is you cut a 4-inch square, or excuse me, you cut a 2-inch square, stamp it, and then cut it in half. And that will give you the upper part and the lower part. So I'm going to do Love Much just one more time so we can get a good inking there. All right, so that looks good. So now we're going to take this off of here. And I'll put it on my cleaner. And now we'll do the little heart. And I don't have any pink out. Well, if I'm going to do it in this color, maybe we can do green. You can do any color you want. So these are the colors I've got out on my desk. So do this one. And then we'll do evergreen. There. So now that part is done. So now we have to lift it up. So this is the part that will show when it is opened. And I want to make sure it's in the center. And that the top is right at the top of that cutout. Like that. Okay, so that looks good. Now I'm going to cover this up with some washi, well, masking tape. And because I don't want to get any stamping on there. I should be able to line it up without it, but this is our masking tape. It's very low, very, very low tack. So, love you more. And this is going to go here. All right, that looks good. Okay. Let's see. Let's stamp it in green. I should do it ombre. Probably would be hard if I have to re-ink it over and over. So again, we're going to press really hard to get it in there. If you had a good cushion, you could do this. And that did not come out good at all. So let's use some power. Give it some chest compressions. There we go. That's better. Okay, I think that's good too. I don't want to do anything more. It's a little bit crooked. It looks like maybe we'll do one more. Just to be on the safe side. think that's as good as it's going to get. So we'll take this off. Get that cleaned. And now this is done. And we'll get rid of the Misty. And we'll bring these pieces back in. All right. So that's how your piece looks. Looks like a hot mess, right? So you slide it up. There we go. And that's what it'll show. All right. Let's see. I'm going to do a little... No, I'm just going to glue it down. I'm not going to do anything drastic. Oh, we got to stamp the front first. All right, let's get that cleaned off. Set that aside. We're going to stamp this with our images, and I'm going to do hearts. So I got the hearts on a block, and we're going to do evergreen. And I'm going to do it in two-tone with the first generation and second generation. I don't think I'll be able to get third with this. Dark inks, generally you can get pretty good impressions for a few stampings. So let's see how this goes. So there's one. Huff on it just a little bit, just in case. And there's two. That looks good. So let's do it again. And I'm just staggering the image so it's offset. You know, heart, heart, so it's a little off. Whoops. And now we will go stagger again. There we go. I like that. Stagger it again. And offset. All right. One. And I'm not going to redo that because see how it missed some. So if I stamped it down, it would be like dark and light more than I want it to be. So I'm going to go ahead and ink it again. And I'm going to do a full image up here and then go down here with the second one. There. And this one I'll do the top and then the bottom. There. So it looks a little better when it's not on the scrap paper. I really like how that came out. And this is not close to my heart paper. I don't think it might be. It might be julep. No, I don't think it is. But it's nice that the inks go well with other things as well. So let's take that out of the way so it's not confusing me. I want this to be really folded down. Let's give it a good burnish here. All right. Now I like to put this piece back in there because if you glue it onto this and it's up too high or down too low, it might not fit right. So we're going to try to get it so that it fits perfect in there. I'm going to put glue on here. You could use double-sided tape, whatever you use that's strong, because it will get some manhandling from moving it up and down. So let's pull it up and see. we go. All right, now one more step. This needs to be folded over. I fold this up, and then I'll try and manipulate the tab into the slot. Of course, it didn't seem that hard until you're on video. And this cardstock is very thick, so the cardstock that I use for the white base on this piece. All right. Oh, you know what? That's not good. I gotta move it. The advantage of liquid glue, hopefully it's not stuck. All right. Take that out of there. I could see it at the bottom, and I don't want to be able to see the other one. It needs to be almost perfect. So it's good that you got to see that. All right. So let's see if it works better this way. So I want it right there. Okay. So now let's glue one side. And the other side. Okay. And then we'll fold this up again. And see if it works. Works. All right. Now, we also have to put foam tape on it, and we can put foam tape right up against here so that it can't go down any further and show any of that image that was there. So we'll need our card base, and I have some foam strips out here. This is the kids' fun foam, which is fine. Big hefty scissors. I use what's on my desk. I close to my heart, non-stick scissors are somewhere. I just don't know where they are on my desk. I've been working, creating a lot. All right, so we're going to make sure the front is exactly where we want it, down as far as we want it. And we want it exactly there. So now this piece is going to go butted up right against that, so it can't go down any further. Because it has just a little bit further it could have gone. So now it comes up and down. All right, so that is all there is to it. I'm finished putting my foam tape around the outside here. You want to get foam tape all the way around so that it gives a nice, the card ability to open and close easily and slide. It's not squished. If you squish it, it won't be able to open and close nicely. In other words, if you put it together without foam tape, it wouldn't slide so nice. It would be, you'd have to tug. So we don't want that. There we go. One more on the side here. And you don't want to interfere with this little tab here either, okay? So you want it to go right along the side like that one is. So let's make sure this one is over far enough. Okay, so that looks good. So now it'll slide in between there. All right. So now you could put it onto a plain piece of white cardstock or a card base. So I'm going to put card bases in the kits just because, you know, you could put a sentiment on the inside. You could also write, if you put it on a one sheet of cardstock, you could write on the back. But there's really nowhere to write on this as it is now without putting it on a card base. And there. And the thin cut makes it exactly fit on a card, and it's got stitching around it too that I really like. So there, I'm going to get a big block to put on this till the glue dries. Our monster block. Okay, so get 2 of these, 2 of the other cards, and I wanted to show you the picture card again, just so you can see. Okay, so I'll take this out to show you. When you do it with a picture, you have to cut the picture in half, and you put half down here, and you have to make sure that it's secure on the edges here so it doesn't catch when you're sliding it in and out. Okay, so that's one of the things that you have to remember. If you stamp it onto a piece of cardstock and cut it in half, you just have to remember that it needs to be secured so that it doesn't catch on the edges. So, and then you fold it up to slide it in and all back together. Here we go. So I hope you enjoy these cards. They're fun, and if you have any questions, of course, let me know. I'll have close-ups at the end. Have a wonderful day.